Good morning and welcome to the Skeinz Diaries. It is Thursday, the 29th of August. You're here with Maree, episode 350. 350 episodes! Where'd that go? Eh? Where did that go? Like a blink of an eye. That doesn't even include everything that I did, I think, in the quarantine diaries. Oh no. Gosh. Seems like only yesterday. Hey, I hope you are all having a fantastic day. We are now sort of in the relax zone post mid-August nights, which was a huge weekend. Absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. You guys had so much fun. Really enjoyable. And I know loads of good morning, Kathy, morning, Margaret. Lots of yarn has been going out all around the countryside from our Ken sale. So thank you to everyone that shopped for the sale. We couldn't do it without you. And if you had been here in store, or you had even had a little look with online, and you would sort of, exploring beyond the sale page, you would have also seen that we had the new Gaia colours out, and we had our new Whisper Mohair. So I'm going to I should send that now because I've just finished it. Oh no, I'm not, because I haven't proofread it. I've just finished the newsletter. I just need to proofread it. That will go out, and it is all about the Whisper Mohair. Now you're thinking, but Maree, you already have Whisper Mohair. Yes, we have Whisper Fine. Now, Whisper Fine actually was the extension from the original old Granddaddy Mohair, which was just called Whisper. And if you've been shopping with us for as long as we've been around, or you were one of these people like I was when you grew up that remember the days that the catalogues, remember when you used to buy everything on mail order catalogues and it would turn up in the post and you would order it, and you would, especially if you're on a farm or a rural area like I was, you'd fill it all out and you'd send it off, and then about a week or two later in the post, the rural delivery postie would turn up with bundles and bags of yarn and knit kits. And a lot of those knit kits were for big, long, flamboyant mohair cardigans and coats. We remember them well, do we not? A lot of them in Targia, they were all the noise, particularly through the 80s and early 90s. And Design Spun was the one that did most of them here in this country. And Margaret's just saying she remembers that. Yeah, I just remember when I grew up, all the mums would get together, they would order them all in, and they would all get delivered to one single location, and everyone would come round and pick them all out and start knitting, and it was quite the thing. Well, we put that mohair on hiatus. So it was so funny. Mohair just completely fell out of favour. And I mean, yarn is like everything in fashion. Things come and go, right? Totally fell out of favour. And we put it on hiatus 6 years ago, but this is us, never say never. And with the dearth of patterns that have been coming out now, particularly from the likes of Petite Knit, the Scandinavians and the Germans especially have been doing a lot of patterns using mohair. It was time to bring it back. And it's not just this is Whisper Fine with cozy. So it's not just the double stranding like this to give you the soft halo, but a proper full-on give me double bubble super fuzzies mohair. And a way a lot of them have been achieving this is they have been taking lace weight mohair and double stranding it, which is a very expensive way of doing it, just quietly. So we figured, well, there's got to be a better way. And one of the better ways to do it, of course, was to go back to our original Whisper Mohair formulation, which, by the way, is someone's idea over there that I'm just pointing to. She's been having quite a few of them lately. Haven't you? Yeah. Yep. So here it is. And I just grabbed this from the shop. So there it all is there. Look at that. Ta-da! There's some double ups in there, obviously. But this is it. It's back. I think that's all of them there. I have a feeling that we might be missing some. Anyway, we've even kept the old label. Look at that. Well, it's not the original label. It was the one we redesigned. Well, we were still in the old shop when we redesigned it. And there has been a return of some colours. So the colours that have come back are the pink, which I tell you what, there will be more than 1 or 2 ballet cardigans around made in this. So that is a repeat. The red is a repeat. We softened the green a little bit. It was a little bit more sort of appley. We've just toned that down a little bit. The natural is back. The bleach white is back. The silver is back. And we did, yes, the teal is back. But we've actually added in, don't laugh, is this brown. And because it's just one, and actually you can see it with what I'm wearing. See, it's just one. It's a very, very soft brown. In the mohair, it makes it look quite soft. And it's one of those ones that if you're a natural tone person, it will tone in with everything. And I really particularly like this one here. It's a lovely sort of, I think we've just called it green. Yeah, we've really gone out on all the names for this time. Green. But it's just a really beautiful sort of almost sagey, deep sagey green. It is absolutely lovely. Oh, hey, Simon, you've just dropped on to have a look. A lot of knitting talk going on here, but you catch it on the replay. So this is what we've got. It's in store now, and it's so great to have back. Oh, and I've got the lilac. Look at that. Oh, pretty. Anyway, it is back. And we did it because there are all these patterns out there now using mohair on a larger format gauge. So I'm talking 14, 16 stitches per 10 centimetres. They're achieving it by double stranding fine weight kid mohair. And you know what? If you guys don't feel like selling a kidney and you could afford to do that, great. But that's just not where everyone's budgets are at. So it makes sense to actually bring this mohair back. Now, talking to Delene, our fabulous Delene, I don't know whether you're there yet this morning, Delene, Delene, as you know, does a lot of our sample knitting, and she was at Cannes, and she literally was finishing this little puppy off for us as we arrived at Cannes. So this is, if you recognise it, this from the fabulous Lisa F, who was also at Cannes. And this was a design that she did way back in the day. I think it was, 90s, I think Lisa said she did that. It's from her vintage collection. We stuck this on Elisa this morning, who this fits. This is to about a size 10, the sample. We put it on her this morning. Oh my gosh, it looked fantastic. So cute. This is the perfect, as you can see with the models here, it's that perfect cute little cropped cardigan. If you had sort of maxi dresses or 1950 style retro A-line dresses, this is the sort of cardigan that you want. I will be getting this pattern up online for you. It looks amazing. So I said to Delene, how did it knit? How did it perform? Because she's the first one that's knitted with it since we've had this new range out. Now, she said it was fantastic. She said it was easier to knit. She's knitted with the old stuff before. And I asked her specifically about the shedding, because that's always been one of the complaints with sort of a brush mohair is does it shed? And our old mohair, bless it, I loved it deeply, but it had a sheddy period. This particular one, we have tweaked the formula a little bit, the fibre formula a little bit. And what we have gone and done is we have actually added back to the fibre, a little bit of fine wool. And the reason we've done that is to, one, help with the plushness of it and to really have it that really beautiful, plump, lush plumpness, which is what you want with, a fluffy knit like this. And also we've done it because it helps lock in those mohair fibres and doesn't have them racing away when it brushes up against another fabric that's a little bit grippier, like a chenille or a corduroy or anything like that, or black. How many times have we had people who've worn black and then they find they're wearing half the garment as they take it off? So as Delene said, she was knitting this in white, and I thought, well, if it's going to shed, you're going to see it in white. She said as good as gold, which is great news, really great news. So it really has helped improve the formula of the Whisper 12 ply. There we go. Suzanne's just saying, I refuse to believe mohair has never gone out of fashion. Great for arthritis, warmth without weight. And that's exactly it, Suzanne, warmth without weight. So what are we going to knit with it? Well, as I said before, I'll pop that up. But what I'm mentioning in the newsletter is we've probably got things already in our pattern libraries that we can actually utilize into this mohair. I did a whole bunch of swatching. What day was it? Yesterday, day before yesterday. A whole bunch of swatching just to see what it looked like. I started the initial mohair. Our recommended needle size was 5.5 millimeter with a gauge of 16 stitches. I did a little bit of swatching yesterday, and I did 5.5, 6, and 7. All of it looked fantastic. It all performed really well. The coverage factor was fantastic, and it held. Because it is a wrap yarn, which means that you've got a polyester binder that wraps around the existing fibre, it still had good structure all the way out to the 7 millimeter. That's great news, because that then means you've got a huge range of patterns that you can draw from. And a lot of the modern patterns that are out currently for the big sort of floaty balloon oversized cardigans or the cocoon cardigans are using those 7 millimeter needles in that sort of 12 stitch tension. So you can actually use one of those and convert back into that fluffier fabric, right? But as Margaret's just said, Cruchy patterns. Exactly. If you've got, this was originally done as a Cruchy pattern, re-released now by Lisa under her own label. But this is where you need to dive into, and I've just gone and grabbed one of my many folders of patterns. I've just gone and grabbed this out, which you've probably got those Cruchy patterns, but if you're anything like me, and I've just, these are the first 3 on top, you probably, if you've been knitting for a while, you've probably got a dearth of these leaflets lying around. There we go. This is, I knitted this. This is done in mohair in 12 ply. This will be perfect. I did this, I don't know. I knitted this about 20 years ago. This pattern, I've had that pattern for that long. So you've probably got some of these floating around. Op shops, a lot of op shops will have these. Even basic Guernseys and Ganseys like this, you can convert into fluff if it's written out for a thicker weight. So there we go. This one goes 8 plies through to 14 ply. So you'll be, and that's just a straight drop-shouldered basic sweater. So if you wanted a fluffy sweater, you could do it in that. So have a look at what you've already got in your existing library. If you want to go retro, if you want to go a little bit more modern, you can actually, there's a whole heap of patterns that you can actually use in this. And anything that I've knitted in Southland bulky, you can knit into Whisper, no trouble whatsoever. Chaika instantly comes to mind from Midori Hirose. You could probably even do ranunculus as well, even though some of the little crossovers might get lost in the fluff. The construction will still work just as well. And dare I say it, Ethan's perennial favourite, of course, and we all know we're talking about the Love Note, you can knit Love Note. I mean, Love Note was designed with a mohair element on a 6 millimeter needle. Just knit it in a straight, plain Whisper, and it should be fine. And I am actually going to do that. I've got 2 lots of it at home, and I'm going to test it in Love Note because hey, I need another Love Note. No, I'm only annoying Ethan with the 4 that I have now. So don't think that you have to rush out and find a new design, because you've got designs already there. The Sunday cardigan, the mohair edition, is probably another one of those that is really, really popular. So there are a swag of them out there. I know I'm tempting you. And oh gosh, we've got the maven of actually mohair on this morning. Good morning, Deanna. How are you? Right, this is, I'm going to, oopsie, when I get I've got my tits in a tangle. There we go. This is what I cast on yesterday. So there it is there. So don't laugh, because of course we grabbed this before it was bald. So mine's sitting on a cone. Before it was bald. So this is what I've got here. Now this is just the bottom of it. You can see there is already Maree's famous sway back in there. The vest that I knitted for Knittlgus Nights, which I knitted on a 6 millimeter needle, double-stranded, I'm now seeing if I can translate that into this mohair, and I think I can. So far, so good. It also means that by doing this, I'm knitting it again from my really scribbled notes. I'm making better notes, so then I can pass those on to probably Ethan or potentially Lisa to help grade them for me and actually get them out into a pattern, a usable pattern for you guys, so you can actually knit that vest either in Southland, a bulky double strand, or in the Whisper yourself. Now, this is me. It could take a while for that to happen. But that's just, I just did this late yesterday afternoon, and it's already knitting up really, really, really well. Look at that. I'm super happy with how it's knitting up. And it's not knitting up like how some of those mohairs used to be, where you're forever having to push and pull and tangle because you've got long strands of brushing and it's difficult to get a smooth rhythm with your stocking stitch. I'm not finding that at all with this. Like, I'm getting a really nice gentle rhythm. I don't know whether the camera will show this up because of the darkness of the colour, but oh yeah, and as you can see there, the tension is pretty even. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it to knit. Fiona's saying, yes, I miss the 12 play mohair sweaters made from thoroughbred patterns. There's another great option. Yeah, all those thoroughbred patterns. Have a look at what you've got. I know you bisms. You've got those boxes and containers under your beds. I know you do. Don't tell me that you don't have them, because I know you've got them. You don't throw away anything. It's time to get those out and have a look. Maureen saying, love a love note over this way. I can do a longer sleeve and even a slight balloon. Well, actually, the love note is designed, funnily enough, you should mention that, Maureen. The love note is designed on a kimono style sleeve, and it then is just pinched in, slightly at the end. So yes, you can actually do it as a balloon, or Barbara's even mentioned not even putting the sleeves in at all and just having it like a yoked vest. You can do all of those things. And Deanna is saying, need to get some to try the Imperfect Twists cowl. Definitely, Deanna. Deanna, if you're looking for designs for mohair, she is the absolute mohair maven. So check out some of those from her. I'm just going back and seeing what else. I know, don't tempt you with mohair. I know. It is so much fun. And you can do a lot of intarsia. Now, just while we're on the... Oh, let's move this over here. Just while we're on the topic of digging things out, I just literally went out to the shop, to my library, because I also know you have these things at home. Or if you're happening to go to an op shop, I mean, who's seen these? We've all seen them, right? Remember these? The Vogue knitting books? I mean, honestly, you can get these at op shops for cents on the dollar, almost, like a few dollars. I just grabbed this one out. I've got a few of them out there. I just grabbed this one out because I knew that it had, because this one came out right in the heart of the mohair craze. And you can make modifications to these. It doesn't have to be exactly like it is. So this one, there we go, mohair with rounded collar. It doesn't have to have the rounded collar, but as you can see, that's actually a nice raglan-shaped cardigan. Good wide bands. Hideous buttons. Anyway, I digress. You could actually play around with that neckline. There were a couple of others in here as well. So what these are reinterpretations of old... see, here's another one. Old designs. See, that one there, look at that. Was actually originally in a mohair that they've gone and done into something else. That is using a finer weight. But there we go. Look at that. Hello. I had something like this when I was a teenager. Go on, you know you did. I did. We all did it. There's about 4 or 5 mohair patterns in this book alone. So get yourself to the good... so there we go, Charles. What is an op shop? Sorry, Charles, I'm doing Kiwiisms again. It's a Goodwill store. So that's our vision of a Goodwill. Yeah, so that's what you want to be. Goodwill as opposed to Goodwill. Goodwill store. Yes. So get yourself down to one of those. You'll be amazed. If they've got anything in there that's retro, 70s, particularly 80s, they will be an absolute font of knowledge. And don't panic too if you look at them and they go, oh gosh, the sizes are so small. Most of the construction on those patterns are done in pieces, and they're fairly basic constructions. So to be able to scale them up is not actually that difficult. It's just some really simple basic maths. And as long as you know your gauge, basically your stitch gauge and your row gauge, you can scale anything from that you want to do up to a size that you need to do it in. So don't be afraid of that at all. I do it all the time. And if you did Delene's class, I think she covered that briefly in her class at Knit August Nights. Lastly, before I disappear for the day, I just wanted to show you this. Before I got the mohair, so it was after I finished the vest and before that arrived so I could start that, I needed just something quickly on the needles. And I'm been right into clearing stuff out of stash at the moment. So I dived into stash, and this is a cowl that you may have seen me wear, my Noro cowl, which I've worn 1,000,001 times. I've worn it so often over the years. And whenever I wear that cowl, people just say to me, I love that cowl and I love that cowl. Where did you get that cowl? What's the pattern for that cowl? So I thought, right, I just need to recreate it. So there I've recreated it. Now, being lazy, that cowl that I knitted in the Nora, I did on a 4mm. This is done on a 6mm because that was the needle I'd just finished using. And I double-stranded a strand of Silver Lining Lumiere, which is that very fine rare breed merino. And can you see the little fleck in there? Is the camera going to pick that up? There we go. The fleck is a fine 4-ply tweed, which I actually was one of the samples that I had got sent out. So I double-stranded them, the two of them together. So essentially 2 4-plies. But the Lumiere is that very fine, untreated merino on that 6mm needle, and then just gave it a block. And that is, as you can see, has ballooned beautifully. Don't look too closely at the spacing between the eyelet rows because, yeah, Chardonnay was involved. That's all I have to say about that. I wasn't really counting and just knitting, and then I'd think, oh, I need to do another eyelet row. But I have actually written a few more notes down around this, and I'm going to get this just written up for you for the free cowls. This little cowl is great. It's really simple to knit. Again, brilliant for gifts and using up those bits in your stash. And it's a little bit more, I find this a little bit more masculine as well than some of the others that I've done. This one will look absolutely fantastic. So that's another one I need to get onto. Adele is saying, oh, what ply did you use my field cardie, which is what I'm wearing right now? I used the Cozy, which is in champagne, which is a 4-ply. So the Skeinz Cozy and the Whisper Fine is what I used in this. You don't, if you wanted to, you could also use Pearl Luster. So the Pearl Luster would actually would actually make the fabric much softer, and it would probably give you a slightly better, crisper stitch definition through these wheats here, Adele, if you use the Pearl Luster. But I, as you know, like to mix really good value rustic yarns with the higher value yarns to get you these really beautiful fabrics. I've used Cozy with Whisper Fine before, and it works incredibly well. So that's what I've done with this one, and it worked beautifully. There we go. Margaret's saying I had a ribbed boxy jumper in mohair and mint green. Yeah, actually, boxy. I'm glad you... See, Margaret, you're a font of knowledge today. Actually, Hohi Locatelli, I think she's got, is it the bulky one or the bulky boxy? Anything boxy like that. Honestly, put the gauges into Ravelry. Go through your existing library. Anything that you've got sitting in that zone between, I think the sweet spot is between 12 and 16 stitches for 10 centimetres on gauge. If you've got anything sitting in that gauge range, it's going to be a sitter for this Whisper. Have a look at the construction and check that as well. But that's your little happy hunting ground. Get some Whisper, do some swatching, see what works for you, and just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's the biggest thing. Fear is the stitch killer. So there you go. You need to not be afraid. Anyway, I'm going to get going and get all of these bits and pieces up, get this newsletter out, load up that Lisa F pattern, and hopefully you have a great weekend. Enjoy your knitting, and I will see you again on Monday. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.